Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. You deserve an award, a coffee, a foot rub, something. You have the patience of an effing saint, OP. People like that know exactly what they're doing, so good job staying in customer service mode. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I cannot bring an entire armchair or couch down from upstairs for you. Worked at a retail store for a while, had to help a couple of gems, including a lady that didn't know what acetone was and used basically nail polish remover to remove her eye makeup, and then asked me if we had something that was both a face wash and a dry shampoo. But this next lady really takes the cake in my retail experience. One thing to remember for the store I worked at let us wear crop tops to work, so I was in a crop top and jeans that day. So this lady was like 70s looking, frail and tiny, looked like an artsy grandma, and she wanted to know if we had any overalls. Well, she was in luck because overalls were like 75% of what we had that season. She says she wants a black pair, so I show her what we have, and she says she'd like to try it in both a medium and a large, so I pull one of each. This lady ends up going through the whole store, making me grab a medium and large in every single jumpsuit and overall style we have in the store, and has me carrying everything in my arms and follow her around the whole time, like a personal shopper. At the store I worked at, I was responsible for helping everyone on the floor, not just one customer at a time, so thank God no one really asked for my help. One mom came up and was about to ask me for something before she saw the 20 overalls I had in my arms and said, "Oh, it's okay, honey, I'll just find it myself." Bless that woman. Lady now wants t-shirts to go with her overalls. Okay, I show her our t-shirts. "These are too baggy," she says. "I want a tight t-shirt." I explain that we didn't carry any tight t-shirts this season, only tight tanks and crop tops, and all our t-shirts were pretty baggy. But I found a style that was sort of fitted, and she flips through the rack before saying, "Okay, get these two for me." Ma'am, you can reach the rack. I saw you flip through the rack. The rack is shorter than you are. I get that you're elderly, but I'm carrying like 20 overalls. And that's just 2 t-shirts, but whatever, I grab her t-shirts. I take all her stuff up to the dressing rooms where she has me give her my opinion for every single overall she tries on. There's a line growing in front of the rooms now, and thank God every other customer was a really understanding college kid who totally got why I was slow to help them. I also find the one tight t-shirt in the whole store in the sales section for her. She pretends to get mad at me for not having brought them to her earlier. She thinks it's funny when I panic for a second. She also thinks it's okay to do this. Lady, do you have any dark blue overalls? Me, yes. L, well, why didn't you get them for me? M, you said you didn't want them. You said blue was too dark. L, well, I want them now. So I radio to have medium and large and the dark blue overalls sent upstairs. An hour later, she finally decides on the pair she wants, but wants to see what her new outfit looks like with the bandana in her hair. She's having some trouble holding her arms up long enough to tie it properly, so I offer to do it for her. While I'm doing this, the lady pats my waist. My bare skin. This lady just pats the exposed part of my waist. My soul left my body for a hot second, but whatever. I bring all her stuff down. She takes one look at the long line and the one cashier girl and says, "Oh, my back hurts so much from standing, and this line is so long. Could you just let me go first?" I tell her, "No, ma'am, I cannot, in fact, let you cut in front of 10 other people, but if you'd like, I can hold your stuff behind the register until the line dies down, and we can find you someplace to sit in the meantime." I offer to take her upstairs in our elevator so that she can sit on one of the really soft couches or armchairs we have on display. She refuses to go upstairs. "I'm not walking up those stairs," she says. I repeat that we have an elevator that I'm more than happy to take her on. She still refuses and insists on staying downstairs. I say that she's welcome to do that, but the only seating we have downstairs is the shoe benches, and those are just hard plywood, which wouldn't do her back any favors. And all the soft seating is upstairs in our furniture section. "Could you just bring down an armchair for me?" No. The couple that was next in line overheard the whole thing and very, very kindly let her cut in front of them, so I just dumped all her stuff at the register and booked it. The cashier told me later that the lady didn't believe how much her stuff came up to and made her cancel the transaction and ring each piece up one by one and show her the price tag and how much it rang up on the register. These type of people, I call them time vampires. They're soul-sucking, and typically the more attention you give them, the more they'll take. Share your retail horror stories in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more wild tales from the front lines. And our second story. Roller shutters are not clean? Okay, I'll do it. This was a few years back when I was working in a pet store. The pet store has 4 roller shutters, 2 at the back and 2 at the front. So one day, my manager told me to use a cloth and clean the roller shutters front and back before we opened the store for business. There was never enough time to clean all the roller shutters before we opened the store. Bear in mind that I arrived at the store at 7 a.m. to clean the cages, feed the animals, brush the cats and dogs to be well presented for potential customers, clean the glass partitions, mop and sweep the floor, restock and manage the cash register. The store opens at 8:30 and I barely made it in time every day. We only have 3 staff at that time. So I quickly finished all my morning tasks. I use a damp cloth to wipe the roller shutters and back and forth sweeps like lightning fast just to make it in time for the opening. The manager had the audacity to scold and pointing at the roller shutter for not cleaning it before opening. You want me to clean the roller shutters? Okay, fine. I pulled the back roller shutters down and proceeded to the cleaning, inch by inch until it was squeaky clean. In between the cleaning, I had to wash the cloth several times to make sure that the water was clear. While I was cleaning, the store was filled with customers. I was nowhere to be found because I was at the back cleaning the roller shutters and blocked from everyone's sight. The line to the cash register was the longest I ever seen. It took me a good 2 hours just to clean the backside. Oh, I wasn't done. I proceeded to clean the front roller shutters as well, pulling it down to clean it, blocking the entrance, preventing customers from entering and exiting the store. The customers inside the store had to exit from the back, and potential customers thought that the store was closed for the day. I took my sweet time, about 2 hours, to clean the front side inch by inch. By the time I reopened the roller shutters, the money made on that day was down by half. It was not my fault. You got mad for me not cleaning the roller shutters. I just followed what you wanted. It was the best day of my life because I'm sick of serving the customers every day. I worked there for 3 years before I had enough. I'd done so many malicious compliance that even till this day, I chuckled myself to sleep when I thought of it. Edit. Roller shutter is a garage door style security barrier. Basically, they're just sheets of metal that roll down over entrances of retail locations to provide additional protection to the store when it's closed. Who in their ever-loving mind wants shutters cleaned? When they're open, they're rolled up and nobody sees them. When you're closed, who cares? It's outside anyway. Also, pretty sure those things need lots of oil, so meticulously cleaning them with soap and water is just going to make them a pain to open and close. And our last story. My uncle against HOA. So my uncle bought a piece of land and built his house on it. Several years later, several houses were built around him and an HOA was formed. He never joined it because he hated the idea of HOAs. The whole problem started when my uncle saw several kids playing in his backyard. Now my uncle has 7 dogs, 2 are bloodhounds, 1 is a pit bull, and the rest are mutts. He was worried that the kids might get bitten by a dog, so he built a fence around the border of his land. It took him 3 days to finish. However, the day after he finished, he got a fine from the HOA for building the fence without the permission of the HOA. He ignored it since he was not part of the HOA, and the fence was on his land, not breaking any rules. A week later, someone from the HOA came to talk to him about the fence. He said he wouldn't pay the fine because he was not part of the HOA. He then explained why he built the fence. The HOA apparently thought he had only 1 dog, not 7. My uncle said goodbye, thinking they'd come to an agreement that the fence was fine, but my uncle would paint it, which he already planned to do. He just hadn't gotten around to it. The next day, however, he received several fines, 1 for his dogs and another for the fence. Again, he ignored them. Several days later, he bought 2 white paint cans and started to paint the fence. While he was doing it, several people who lived there walked by. Some said hi, while others just glared at him as they walked by. He paid them no mind, and after a while, several people from the HOA came by to complain about the color he chose. He didn't understand what was wrong. After all, it was white, so he asked what was wrong with it. and they said they didn't approve him building the fence, let alone painting it. They proceeded to say they had to tear down the whole fence by the end of the week and then request permission to build the fence again. He refused and reiterated that he was not a part of the HOA. This turned into an argument where his dogs were brought up, and by the end of it, they were threatening his dogs. By this point, there was a small crowd gathering and watching, so my uncle calmed himself down, picked up his paint, and went back home. 3 days later, while he was walking around the inside of his fence, he found several pieces of bacon covered in a white powder. When he picked them up, he realized they smelled like a chemical, and he realized that someone was trying to poison his dogs. Getting super pissed, he installed several cameras around the fence to find out who it was. He actually caught them on camera one night, so he went to the HOA's meeting that was happening next month. When he got there, it turned out that the person trying to poison the dogs was the HOA's president, whom I'll call Karen. He hadn't even met her until then. He still showed the video and even brought some of the bacon as proof. He said that if it continued, he would contact the police. After that, the bacon stopped being thrown into his yard, and she was voted out and later moved somewhere else. It wasn't until a month after Karen moved that he was told the kids he saw playing in his yard were Karen's kids. Since he built the fence, they'd been complaining nonstop for months that they could no longer play there. My uncle only didn't call the cops immediately because he had some bad run-ins with them when he was younger and didn't trust them not to screw him over. If someone legitimately wants to be subject to an HOA, then more power to them. Just don't start complaining when it goes sour. I'm sure there are good HOAs out there that have low fees and loose rules that nobody minds, but you give up too much authority over what's supposedly your own property for me to want to ever be beholden to one. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.